In the days following Iran's controversial presidential election, a loose consensus has developed among much of the world's English-language media that incumbent President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad and his allies stole the election in an act of widespread fraud. Investigative journalist Robert Perry, who gained fame for his work uncovering the Iran-Contra scandal in the 1980s, pointed out the irony in this enthusiasm. It also has been curious to see U.S. news organizations care suddenly about legitimate elections, when most of them ignored, ridiculed, or covered up evidence that George W. Bush stole the U.S. presidential election in 2000 and possibly in 2004 as well, adding that Iran's religious leaders now have ordered an investigation of the fraud. That is more than Americans got in 2000 and 2004. This announced investigation has done very little to calm the unrest in Iran, as droves of supporters of both presidential candidates continue to fill the streets. On Wednesday, former Interior Minister and current member of Iran's Election Oversight Committee, Ali Akbar Muhtashamipour, announced that over 70 polling stations had recorded more votes than eligible voters, including one station in which 140% of eligible voters had voted. It should be noted, however, that Muhtashami is a supporter of the defeated Mousavi. An op-ed published on Monday by the Washington Post has caused many media outlets to question their support for the fraud theory. The piece was written by Ken Ballin and Patrick Doherty, directors of a rare countrywide public opinion poll that was taken in Iran 3 weeks prior to the election. The poll was a joint project of the New America Foundation and Terror Free Tomorrow, a Washington-based think tank with powerful U.S. politicians on its advisory board, many of which have publicly endorsed U.S. military intervention in Iran, including former Senate Majority Leader Bill Frist and Senator John McCain. The authors of the op-ed claim that their polling results support Ahmadinejad's landslide victory numbers, and their conclusions are now being quoted widely. However, when they first released the data only 4 days before the election, their conclusions were quite different. Quote, "It appears that none of the presidential candidates will pass the 50% threshold needed to automatically win, thereby triggering a second-round runoff ballot," while Friday's results gave Ahmadinejad almost 2/3 of the first-round votes. Furthermore, the report added that a close examination of our survey results reveals that the race may actually be closer than a first look at the numbers would indicate. This is due to the fact that a full 49% of the respondents were either undecided or refused to answer the question of which candidate they would vote for. Yet on questions regarding government policy, a strong majority appeared to reflect the values espoused by Mousavi, not Ahmadinejad. The poll clearly shows a strong Ahmadinejad lead, but contrary to the author's op-ed, it does not support the landslide first-round victory observed last Friday.